The risk management plan is a process that involves many steps, the most important of which is that the risk management should continue throughout the whole life cycle of the project. The first step is to identify each risk. It should be more extensive than simply naming the risk. The category and type of risk should be identified. Things like brainstorming and SWOT analysis are used to do this. Next comes the analysis of the risk. We use a risk rating matrix to assess the severity of each risk, and then we compile all this data into a risk register. The risk register is always reviewed constantly throughout the project, which is step 3, review and monitoring of risks. Since risks change throughout the project as the nature of the project evolves, it's crucial that they constantly be reviewed, as some become more relevant and some become more irrelevant depending on the time and scale of the project. Here we have our risk rating matrix. We've developed this with the following headings: risk, impact, impact level, likelihood, severity, and mitigation strategies. The severity is the most important value in this table, and it's produced by multiplying the impact level and the likelihood level together. The severity is measured on a scale from 1 to 25, 1 being least severe and 25 being most severe. From here, we can see that the risk that's most severe is failure of communication between management and delivery teams.
The schedule for the Smartlane project was created in Project Libre as shown on the screen. Task durations and predecessors were added. Resources were added next, which can be seen on the screen next to the tasks. Many assumptions were made, such as the duration of the task, the resources associated, and the resources availability. Risk can be reduced by adding extra time to the end of each task. The work breakdown structure can be seen on the screen with costing for each section broken up. Cost was estimated, which means the level of detail was very low. Other construction projects could have been researched to find the amount of cost for each section.
WH&S and environmental considerations. Within project construction phases, potential issues can arise that can be of harm to the project infrastructure and all the workers that are on site. As stated by the New South Wales Government Safe Work Plan of 2020, potential issues in respect to work, health and safety and how they can be treated are electrical and power, whereby this risk has caused 2,000 electrical shocks over the past 4 years in New South Wales workplaces, resulting in 5 deaths. Excavation work, whereby these risks can be dealt with by creating an emergency plan and also following the guidelines stipulated by clauses 304 to 306 of the Work Health and Safety Regulation of 2017. Noise, as over the past 4 years within New South Wales workplaces, noise has caused 10,000 injuries within the workplace. Outside climate, which can be further categorised into dehydration, heat stroke, heat rash, heat cramps and heat exhaustion, given Australia's harsh climate. And also miscellaneous, which can be classified as drug and alcohol abuse on site, and also given the current world climate, coronavirus. The linked YouTube video demonstrates the effect of noise and vibration pollution on site. Furthermore, within project phases, certain environmental considerations are needed to take place which can ultimately affect how the design and construction of the overall project are run. In accordance with multiple guidelines, these certain environmental considerations can be listed as noise pollution, which can negatively affect both humans and surrounding fauna, vibration pollution, which can negatively affect the structural integrity of surrounding buildings, and lastly, particle pollution, which is highly evident in excavation work and can negatively affect the respiratory system of humans and animals, and can be eliminated through the use of watering down the dirt during excavation.
So for the site management plan, we broke it down to a few key areas to look at it closely. Site establishment will be carried out first. So this involves getting all the necessary approvals from the university and the local council. After that, we will conduct a survey and we will set out the perimeter fencing around the site. Managing this space as efficiently as possible is crucial because it's on university grounds and there are students still present on campus. While the fencing is carried out, we will make sure that the nearby footpaths will not be disturbed so that the students could still use them freely. So looking at the environmental management, we basically broke it down to two key areas: waste management and air quality and dust control. Waste management will basically revolve around the principle of reduce, reuse, and recycle. So waste such as concrete, scrap metal, and timber will be stored on site, and they will be reused as whenever as possible. Waste that we can't reuse or recycle will be transferred to waste processing centers nearby. Our team will conduct regular cleanups on site to ensure that there will be no loose rubbish present on site, and bins on site will be emptied daily. So looking at the air quality and dust control, we'll make sure we stockpile materials on site undercover so that they won't be exposed to open environments. Also, prior exiting the site, we will conduct vehicle inspections and we'll make sure the wheels of those vehicles will be cleaned. And during windy weather, rubbish bins in the open environment will be thoroughly covered. And also the machinery exhausts and the exhaust of vehicles will be subjected to regular maintenance to ensure minimum pollution discharge.
First thing for monitoring and control is identifying the key performance indicators. These include scope, cost, time, quality, communications, procurement, and resources. For this first slide, in my monitoring plan, you can see my plan for the scope, cost, and time. This slide will go over quality. This is a lot more in-depth as quality covers project methods, material quality, environmental aspects, and safety standards. This is one of the most important aspects of the monitoring and control to keep on top of quality to make sure stakeholders are happy and all requirements are met. So on this slide, I've gone in further to the KPIs. As we can see here, the communications, procurement, and resources all in a handy table there for you. Here we can see the handover section. So I've just outlined issues and consequences. With the handover, mostly that is to do with the stakeholder, making sure they're happy and all technical requirements are there. Commissioning is more about providing adequate training to make sure this project is running at peak performance.